people to continue to wear masks just for my safety, my employees' safety.
There's a proposal on the table to repeal the Marion County mask mandate, but tonight we hear from one business owner hoping the rule stays in place. He survived a long battle with COVID-19. Now he hopes his ordeal will inspire other patients to keep up the good fight against the virus.
Who's ready to watch some racing? IMS has plans in place to welcome fans back in October. We'll have the details coming up.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Welcome into WRTV News at 5. I'm Amanda Starantino. An Indianapolis man is back home tonight after 5 months in the hospital battling COVID-19. Family and caregivers lined the sidewalk as Surjit Singh was released from a rehab hospital this afternoon. Family tells us he checked into the hospital with severe COVID-19 symptoms and low oxygen levels back on April 16th. Since then, he's been in numerous intensive care units and was on a ventilator for 116 days. Today, family says they shared his story, saying they hope it encourages those battling COVID-19 to keep fighting.
If you're out there and you're fighting this virus, just keep pushing and keep fighting. You know, there have been many times where we thought it was the end of the journey, but we kept pushing and kept fighting and looking for new resources.
The family plans to celebrate his 68th birthday at home this weekend. The Indiana State Health Department reports 17 more deaths from the coronavirus. 3,270 Hoosiers have now died with COVID-19. More than 109,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 1.8 million people have been tested in Indiana, with 6.1% testing positive. Kyle.
Well, today a milestone in central Indiana weather. We did not make it to 70 in Indianapolis for that high. 68 was our top number. That snaps 119 days in a row where we reached 70 degrees or warmer. So we're kind of breaking that, settling into fall a little bit early here in central Indiana. It officially arrives next Tuesday. It's 67 right now in Indy. You did make it to 70 in Bloomington, while it's 65 in Tipton and Lafayette at 68. Very quiet. Radar shows the weather pattern is going to remain on the quiet side here, and even off toward the southeast where they had a lot of rain yesterday. Just some clouds and isolated showers lingering. So if you're going to be heading out to some of the high school football games this evening, you're probably going to want to grab that jacket or a hoodie or something to keep you a little warm, because by 8 o'clock, our temperatures are in the upper 50s. It's been a little breezy today. That wind will begin to taper off a little bit with that sunset at 7:48 this evening. Some areas under a frost advisory. We'll talk more about where we could see some of that patchy frost starting off the weekend in a few minutes.
The days could be numbered for Marion County's mask mandate. That's if the City County Council votes on a new proposal to repeal the ordinance. Councilor Joshua Bain, who represents District 20, says the mandate is hurting businesses. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan spoke with one business owner who sees things differently.
While some businesses may feel like the mask mandate is hampering business, I spoke with one shop owner here on Mass Avenue who says she doesn't feel like the mask mandate has anything to do with her loss of customers.
City County Councilor Joshua Bain submitted a special resolution yesterday to repeal the mask mandate in Marion County, citing it as one of the reasons businesses are struggling.
It's just devastated our Indianapolis economy. All you have to do is walk downtown and you can see what these mandates have done.
Felicia Kiesel doesn't believe masks are to blame for the slowdown in foot traffic at her store.
But the mask mandate has nothing to do with that.
Boomerang Boutique is surviving amid the pandemic. Kiesel adjusting her hours and selling items on social media.
There are other factors that are playing into people not coming downtown.
The resolution would advise businesses to decide their own mask policy, and it would leave it up to individuals whether they want to wear a mask or not. Bain says he's not against masks. He just doesn't think people or businesses should be punished for violations.
The thing that I keep hearing from everyone down in my district is, why don't you trust us enough? You should trust us enough to implement and determine our own mask policy.
There is a statewide mask mandate in place, but unlike the county ordinance, there are no criminal violations under that order. The Marion County Health Department says so far one business has been required to pay the $1,000 fine for violating the mask mandate. City County councilors against the resolution say without a mandate, employees at some businesses may not feel safe.
There are so many people who are not in a position to compromise or negotiate with their employer by saying, okay, no one has to wear a mask here. They're putting so many of their employees at risk who may be too afraid to speak up.
Kiesel says if the mandate were repealed, she'd find it much more difficult to enforce her employees and customers to wear a mask. And she doesn't trust that everyone would do so willingly.
COVID's still out there. Nothing has changed with that.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
In a statement, Council President Bob Postal says he looks forward to reviewing the special resolution. One person is dead and 2 others are hurt following a shooting near the campus of Indiana State University. Terre Haute police say it happened just after 1:30 this morning at what investigators believe was a college house party at South 6th and Poplar Streets, a few blocks south of the ISU campus. One person died at the scene while 2 others suffered injuries that are not life-threatening. Police have not released information about a possible suspect. The city of Carmel's website remains down after it was hacked. A statement from the city says around 8 o'clock this morning, the city's IT department found the front page of the website had been replaced by a message saying the site had been hacked by Iranian hackers. It featured an image of former Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in January by a U.S. drone. The city says the site was immediately taken down and says they are working to find out what happened and to restore the site as soon as possible. The city also says no private information was compromised. Racing resumes at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in just 2 weeks after missing out on having fans at both the Brickyard 400 and Indy 500. IMS will be welcoming guests inside this time. Brad Brown has a look at the plan and how it all came together.
This summer, there was an eerie emptiness for the 2 biggest weekends at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But this fall, fans will be back in the stands.
We've stayed in contact with the county health department, the state health department, really throughout the years. We were thinking about our other events, and this one we were pretty excited to get that approval from Dr. Kane.
IMS has gotten the green flag to welcome 10,000 people to each day of the inaugural IndyCar Harvest GP, the first weekend of October.
We wanted to have a number that we could manage. We wanted to have a number that we felt like was appropriate for the gates. We're going to have everybody come in either gate 1, which is the gate behind us right here at turn 1, or gate 9, which is the gate behind turn 4.
Everyone entering will undergo temperature screenings, and masks will be required throughout the speedway.
A lot of good things happen around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's an outside event, and so we do know that COVID doesn't transfer as well outside, but at the same time we had to think about how do you make sure we're making sure folks are safe. So the mask is a big piece of that.
5,000 seats will be sold in each of the IMS Ovals Turn 1 and Turn 4 grandstands. Those are some of the best vantage points for the IndyCar road course doubleheader.
As we were thinking about the Indy 500, we started thinking about where we were going to put people, even with at 25% capacity. So we did a lot of the work in terms of how the seating would work so that we can make sure that nobody is sitting in front of or behind you. You've at least got space on one side or the other, really trying to distance folks when they get inside. And if at the end of the day, a customer doesn't feel comfortable, we totally get it. We understand that, and we'll look forward to seeing people here in May.
Along with the IndyCar doubleheader that weekend, IMS will also host the Intercontinental GT and GT World Challenge Sports Car Series for an Indianapolis 8-hour endurance race. It's on that Sunday, October the 4th. Tickets for all of those events are on sale right now. You can visit ims.com for more details. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Thanks, Brad. Get them while they last. A limited number of single game tickets for the Colts' second home game are now on sale to the public. The Colts take on the Jets at Lucas Oil Stadium on September 27th. Tickets to that game will be sold in pods to maintain physical distancing between unrelated groups. The Colts announced yesterday that it will host up to 7,500 fans. Go to the Colts website for more info, including game day requirements for fans. Still ahead on WRTV, both candidates for president make a move to Minnesota. The messages they want voters to hear right now. It will give you a new perspective on the national pastime and on everyday life. Next, an inspiring game played by some inspiring people. The federal judge in Washington state has blocked the changes to the Postal Service imposed by the Postmaster General. In a case brought by several Democratic state attorneys generals, the judge ruled the so-called cost-cutting measures infringed on the state's constitutional authority to regulate elections and the people's right to vote. More now from ABC's Zareen Shah.
This afternoon, 4 states, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Virginia, starting early in-person voting. This as a federal judge in Washington overnight blocks the U.S. Postal Service and Postmaster General Louis DeJoy from changing policy and protocols ahead of Election Day. The judge saying DeJoy, a former top Republican donor, engaged in partisan politics and ordered him to stop or reverse any changes affecting the speed of mail delivery nationwide. DeJoy is currently being investigated by Congress for allegedly pressuring employees at his former company to make donations to GOP candidates, then paying them back in bonuses. Still, many in Virginia not taking chances, standing socially distanced with masks, eager to cast their votes in person.
Obviously, there's all this fuss about that working or not working, so I thought, why not just get up, stand in line, and get it done in person.
Despite the apparent drop in confidence, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Friday saying she will fight to ensure everyone can vote either in person or by mail.
The assaults that have been made on the election, the discrediting of certain forms of voting and the rest, are not to be ignored. This is a fight for our country.
Mail-in voting is historically thought of as benefiting Republicans more than Democrats, although the president sending mixed messages last month, signing his own absentee ballot by mail despite painting mail-in voting as unreliable.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the polls to vote in the Florida primary.
The fight over the Postal Service, meanwhile, raging for weeks. Democratic attorney generals in 24 states and D.C. had filed lawsuits against the Postal Service prior to Thursday's ruling.
Even if you take him at his word, he's already made the illegal changes. He's already negatively impacted the flow of mail.
And when DeJoy testified before Congress last month,
the Postal Service is fully capable and committed to delivering the nation's election mail securely and on time. This sacred duty is my #1 priority between now and Election Day.
one of the reasons this debate got so heated is that sorting machines in battleground states were being removed. 8 out of 28 in Charlotte, North Carolina, according to one local leader there. According to the judge's orders, all of those will have to be replaced. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The 2020 campaign season is picking up steam as voters in Minnesota and Virginia are among the first to head to the polls for in-person early voting. Both Democratic nominee Joe Biden and President Trump are on the campaign trail in Minnesota, which is one of several battleground states in the race for the White House. Both Biden and Trump are hoping to drum up more enthusiasm as voters prepare to make their choices.
I've set records on the stock market even during the pandemic. And that doesn't happen by accident. I will tell you this, if Joe Biden ever got this position, and that's a headwind on the stock market.
This is all about one thing, the stock market. He doesn't want to see anything happen. It's all about his reelection. It should be about the American people, and they're in trouble.
An ABC News Washington Post poll this week shows Biden currently has the advantage in Minnesota, but Trump, who only lost the state by a slim margin in 2016, is focusing on the economy and avoiding the pandemic, hoping that will prove to be a winning strategy. The candidates will come face to face for their first debate in less than 2 weeks on September 29th. With the election quickly coming up, let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when that starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. The U.S. Commerce Department plans to restrict access to the popular TikTok and WeChat apps over the weekend. The department is enforcing President Trump's executive order against the apps headquartered in China starting this Sunday. The Commerce Department will prohibit any moves to distribute or maintain WeChat or TikTok on an app store. But users who have already downloaded the apps can continue to use them. The Trump administration claims the Chinese are maliciously collecting Americans' personal data through those apps. Often in the ordinary, you can find the extraordinary, and WRTV's Rafael Sanchez found that at Freedom Park in Greenwood. At a distance, it looked like a regular game of baseball. On closer look, he found courage, character, and competitors on the field.
Set. Ready, pitch.
The umpire calls.
Foul ball.
Signs of a summer pastime.
Strike. Ready, pitch.
Mark Morris covers his bases by putting his skills to work. The father of two is among the visually impaired athletes playing beep baseball.
I was able to run full out, and I was able to play a team sport.
Beep is the sound of the ball, which the pitcher throws to help the players decide when to swing. The bases also beep to guide them to the right place.
Yeah. You got to pay way more attention to detail out here. In football, you can kind of see things and adjust your body. Out here, you can't see it, so you got to be really focused, razor focused on attention to detail.
Set. The pitcher and catcher are the only sighted members of the team.
Working together to put the ball in play. It's absolutely teamwork to its finest point.
Aaron C. is a former football player who lost his vision while in college, now easing in to a new sport.
It's funny because you go from sports my whole life where it's all yelling and loud, and then you come out here and you can hear a pin drop. So it's just a different atmosphere, but it's still the highest level of competitiveness.
Set. Ready, pitch. Oh, good swing, baby.
All players are required to wear a blindfold. Since their varying degrees of visual impairment, the blindfold puts everyone on an equal playing field. So on this diamond, a bunch of guys striking against the odds with their hits, home runs, and sportsmanship on display for all to see. Working for you, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
Today, a nice day for a game outside, just battling that breeze a little bit. The cold front that moved through yesterday, dropping temperatures, quite the change out there. Yesterday afternoon, we had temperatures around 80 degrees. Now we're running 5 to even 15 degrees cooler than this time yesterday afternoon. Put you at 70 degrees in Bloomington. Everyone else, though, in the 60s, 67 downtown. We got 65 in Kokomo, but at least we have enjoyed a lot of sunshine. But those clear skies tonight, and as the winds relax a little bit, means that temperatures are going to tumble here. We'll go into the 50s by 9 o'clock here. We're at 56 degrees on into the 40s tomorrow morning. A couple of spots may actually dip down into the 30s. Look at this, 39 by Saturday morning in Lafayette, Muncie, Peru at 38. And that's where we do have a bit of a frost advisory that's going to go into the early morning hours of our Saturday from around Monticello, Logansport, Marion, Hartford City, Portland there, and areas to the north. I think it will be very scattered and patchy frost out there, but still just a sign that we're getting into some of those cooler times already. Your Saturday forecast, though, temperatures will try to recover here. It's going to be another cool day, though. Temperatures are still in the upper 50s as we get to noon, middle 60s for that afternoon high with mostly sunny skies out there, and tomorrow's not going to be as breezy as what we had today. A high of 65 in Kokomo, 66 in Anderson. Those numbers along I-70 will be in the middle to upper 60s, and I still don't think we're going to squeeze out a 70 here as we get around Sullivan, Columbus with those numbers in the upper 60s. If you're going to be heading off to the Colts game on Sunday, again, we got limited capacity there, but we've got some nice weather after another cool start. Temperatures will rebound into the lower 70s with, again, a lot of sunshine here through the second half of the weekend. 7-day planning forecast now as we put it all together for you, and the dry weather will continue here the next several days. There's some moderating temperatures, though. We'll be with lows in the 40s through Monday morning. Then those numbers get a little bit warmer, and check it out, by Wednesday, we are back to around 80 degrees. So as soon as fall officially arrives, it feels a little more summer-like out there. Not quite time to put those shorts away just yet. Stay with us. We got much more to come here on the News at 5.
Indy Humane has a problem, and they are hoping you can help with the solution. The shelter is crowded with cats, so this weekend they're holding a special socially distant adoption event. It is tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Michigan Road location. You must pre-register and prepay a $25 fee. It's the shelter's first adoption event since the COVID-19 pandemic began. Organizers say they have taken the necessary precautions to keep everyone safe. For example, pre-registered guests will only have 15 minutes to select a kitten, then another 15 to sign the paperwork. This will help keep the facility from having too many people inside at the same time.
just because of a pandemic, homeless and stray animals aren't going to go away. So we're just lucky enough to still be able to facilitate adoptions on a daily basis. So we're excited.
If you have not registered, there is still time. Just go to indyhumane.org. There are about 60 kittens to choose from. Kittens will be posted on the website, available for adoption through the normal process. Here's a job that will satisfy your hunger for something different: professional cheeseburger tester. In honor of National Cheeseburger Day, Bonus Finder Casino Review Portal has announced it will pay $500 to someone who will be a professional cheeseburger tester and travel the U.S. to find the best cheeseburger in the country. You must be 21 years old and a resident of the United States or Canada, and also not on a diet. You have until September 28th to apply at the Bonus Finder website. The winner will be announced October 8th. Sign me up. A local school employee says she felt like she had to resign after recovering from COVID-19. Tonight at 6 and only on WRTV, why COVID concerns caused her to walk away from her job. As the pandemic continues, researchers are learning more about effects of COVID-19. We talked to experts about why some survivors are still dealing with symptoms months after beating the virus.